Hello everyone and welcome back to some updates on this small game. So a lot of stuff has happened lately, and especially during the last stream. I've implemented a lot of features. I'm going to go through all of them, but first I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the story of the game itself. So essentially this game is about you battling your own evil side and accepting your evil side or something like that. And there are several names that I thought about, and my friends also helped me with some other names. One of which stuck was senseless, which sounds good, or sensory sorcery. There's little bit sorcery in this game. I don't know, maybe I'm going to add like spells, I don't know, like a fireball or something. I don't really know much about combat, but what I do know about the game is its structure, and that's what we see in here. This very weird uh, whatever this is. So this is pretty much the plan of the game and what I intend to make the game about. So essentially you're going to start in this area where you are going to break some kind of shard or a obelisk which had some kind of demon trapped inside of it. You touch it and it gets broken into pieces, and he's like, ha ha ha, I have stolen your senses, or at least materialized them into something which are going to try to put a stop to our adventure. And it's a Metroidvania game. Each of the red dots actually represents one of the levels, and all of the arrows actually leads you from one level to the other. For example, the first one leads us from the entrance of the cave to the cave level, and then we can only go through this area or this area. While this area is being blocked by the sense of touch. So going through a little bit of what all of the senses are, essentially they are going to be boss battles. For example, the boss battle is going to be a boss which is just very lovey-dovey and touchy, and he just wants to hug you, but in consequence he's going to squash you, and it's going to be a boss where you need to time your jumps and do some precision platforming and try to hit it at certain times, because its hands and feet are going to go across the screen and try to deal damage to you. But after you unlock and defeat this boss, you're going to be able to open some of the doors laid in front of you, which can actually lead you from level 2 to level 7, because this is blocked by the sense of touch, and from level 3 to level 5, which is also blocked by the sense of touch. While going through the level 5, you're going to encounter the boss of taste, or the sense of taste, which is actually going to be just a gigantic monster. But essentially, instead of being just, you know, the usual cave spikes, it's actually going to the teeth of the monster. So unknowingly you are going inside the belly of this monster and need to fight it from within, destroy it, and then you can pass further to level 6, where stuff is really weird. I don't have a very well-rounded plan yet, but it's going to be weird definitely, and you'll need to beat two other bosses in here, the sense of hearing and the sense of smell. So going back to the sense of smell, this area is going to be called Olfactory Orchestra, and it's going to be a little bit puzzly, and it's going to involve smell in a sense that allows you to do some kind of puzzles where you place a stone somewhere and some other gas vent is going to push more air, so pushing you upwards, something along those lines. And later you're going to confront the boss which represents the sense of smell. This one hasn't been shaped up much. I know more about the level than the boss itself, so I still need to find a way to shape it up into something which is more fleshed out. And after you unlock this, you can battle the boss, which is the sense of sight, which is going to be this very ugly monster which has two very big eyes and lots of other smaller eyes, and it's going to try to eat you, of course. After you hurt its big eyes, it's going to remain with only the small eyes, and they cannot see that well in the shadow. So that means when you go back to level 6, you're going to need to hide from this monster in the shadows, and it's going to pass from one side to the other, which is going to enable you to beat the boss in level 9, because from 1 to 9 there's going to be a lot of darkness, and you cannot pass from one side to the other unless you beat this sense of sight boss, where you're going to meet the sense of hearing boss, which is going to be pretty much honestly inspired by the mob in Half-Life Alyx, which is Jeff. and that monster is blind but can hear very well. There's going to be something along those lines, but after you beat this part you are going to unlock some kind of sense of hearing. So maybe I'm going to do something which is whatever object creates a sound is going to create like a wave, quote unquote, illuminates the scene, something along that lines, and that's going to enable you to access new areas in the game. But essentially it's going to help you, lead you through the last level where you're going to meet your evil twin. And this evil twin is essentially the worst and the worst of yourself, some kind, and you're going to need to go through a combination of all of the mechanics that you encountered by battling all of these bosses. And after you beat your evil self, then you are freed and you can get back to your spaceship and, you know, return to your missions. There are also some updates in the game itself where I did fix some of the problems related to the attribute clashing simulation that I am doing, and you can see here the rat is actually getting the colors from the spaceship, which is actually the spaceship from another game that I started, but scope creep made itself present and I kind of abandoned the project for now. I'm going to hopefully get back to it because it's a nice project, but who knows how that turns out. But yeah, essentially I also added some destructible tiles as a feature where I'm going to be able to do this kind of interaction with the player. I also added another tile to test that I can make multiple ones and this get destroyed easier, 1 frame per destruction. And I have this bullet which is probably going to change to something else, but it was just for testing purposes and I think it works fine. So yeah, here is going to be the obelisk that you touch at the beginning of the game. I don't know if you are going to shoot at it or just touch it, but essentially after it's being destroyed you can pass further and, you know, start with the rest of the game. Right now if I jump in here I just jump into oblivion, so nothing happens. But yeah, this is going to be the entrance to the cave, and you are going to also have like a small cutscene where the sky disappears and everything around you disappears because, you know, you lost your senses. Not entirely, because I think going with that direction it's a little bit complicated for the scope of this project, but something a little bit more substantial is going to happen before you enter in the cave. So yeah, thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of stuff. If you want to see more updates about this game or you are interested in Godot game dev tutorials, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!